Joining me now on Zoom is Liz Snyder from Hillside Garden Landscaping. And today Liz is going to share some of her favorite perennials for early summer. Liz, what do you have to share with us today?
One of my favorite plants that's blooming in my garden right now is called Baptisia. It's a native plant and it blooms for such a very long time, which is nice. You get almost up to a month of color on this. When the flowers open, they're just kind of little bubbles on a big long stalk, and then as they open, they just kind of open up, and that gets thick, almost like a lupin. And I have a shot here from in my garden last night. There was many different kinds of bees on that, and they were just happily in there, getting all that pollen. And it's a really tough plant. It's really quite large too, which is nice. So if you need something to take up some space, it gets about 3 feet tall and wide, which is a pretty good size. And then it's got kind of a unique leaf to it too. It's really kind of neat. And once those flowers are done, they make kind of like a seed pod that kind of shakes in the wind and makes kind of a cool noise. So they're a really neat kind of deer-resistant perennial that is great for this time of year. Once all those spring blooming things are kind of winding down, this just kind of revs up and gives you some great color for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like a really interesting plant. So are there any others that you would like to share with us?
I am just always loving perennial geraniums this time of year. They too bloom for such a long time, and it's a real low growing plant. So this is going to be something that's great as a shorter foreground plant for your garden. They get about 12 inches tall, give or take, depending on the variety that you have. There's so many different varieties. But they have a more petite flower than kind of the annual geranium that everyone's used to, that's kind of a big cluster. These are more of a single flower. But once you get up close to them, you see that they are very similar in appearance. You don't have to deadhead them to get them to continue to keep blooming like that. And if you've got some like boulders or a retaining wall or something, those can kind of spill over it in the foreground of a garden and soften that up and just look very pretty. And they require virtually very little care. Another thing that I'm really loving right now for the shade garden is I've shared some photos of a late blooming Astilbe, and this is two different colors. The white can really pop in a shady dark area, and that pink is just a really bold color, and the two of them together I thought was kind of really nice, very soft and fluffy. And so that could be a great addition for the shade that the deer aren't doing.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Liz, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm Liz Snyder, your home gardener from Hillside Garden Landscaping.